Ahoy!
Ahoy!
Welcome back to Carly's Historians.
I'm Carly.
I'm Blair.
And this is the comedy podcast where we talk about history and our girls.
And we're joining you on this beautiful July Thursday. The sun is in the sky. The air is hot.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like 90 today, right?
Yeah, I really wish I knew Fahrenheit. I only think of Fahrenheit when I think of pool temperatures.
That's amazing.
Right? Because I'm like 9 degrees. That's a hot pool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. That'd be a lovely pool.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be almost like a hot tub. I think when a pool is too hot, it kind of grosses me out, though. That's why I don't really love hot tubs to begin with.
Hot tubs are gross. I like a hot tub. To be honest, I can really fight through any kind of fear surrounding the disgusting kind of human soup that they are, just based on the fact that they're nice.
Yeah.
But they are disgusting. Like, they are just, you get disease from hot tubs.
Well, are you ever in a hot tub and then someone kind of gross is like, I'm going to get in the hot tub, and you're like, oh, no.
Not you.
No, not the thing.
Well, we went to at that time, I think you were seeing a movie, but when Mrs. Beast descended upon the Christie Pitts pool at night.
Yeah. Oh my God. Fun.
They have a heated pool there because they keep the public pools open here if there's a heat wave up till like 11:30 at night. So it's fun to go because the public pools here are often very, very crowded. So it's like, I don't always want to go to that pool because it's like so busy.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes you go and there's just truly 67 children there.
The most children you can even imagine. And there were still a lot of children at this pool at 11. And I was like, that's insane.
The way parents keep their children up at night, I cannot get on board.
I can't imagine. But I got there, me, Reese, and Ben got there before everyone else and went into the regular pool. And then people kind of trickled in after their engagements and whatever.
Huge.
And then I was like, we need to move to the heated pool because y'all can chill in the regular pool, but like we're freezing to death. Like we are
it's cold
blue.
now.
Yeah. So we went to the heated pool and I was like, a heated public pool is a choice. It's a choice.
It is.
But like if you swim in the lake, it's like the same thing. You know what I mean?
Well, there's so many like chemicals in it too. Like, I don't know. I think if you're getting in a body of water, there's a certain level of risk you just have to kind of leave at the door.
It's just, and it's like if I'm going to get, taken down by a bacteria from the pool, like so be it. That's just life. There's nothing I can do to prevent that. What, I'm supposed to never go in a pool?
Well, that's like life. That's your choice. Like I always think about this because I've not all the time, but I go to other ship every once in a while, which I'm sure they have in other cities. But if not, it's like just like a sauna and ice bath cycling thing. And it's a real place for a bunch of posers, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it's like a trendy spa, but it's like the water part of the spa, the water therapy.
And for the ice bath, they have these like literal like bathtubs, and then they just dump trays of ice in them, and people sit in them individually. And I'm like, this is like, I'm putting aside so many of my usual things to sit in this like ice bath for 4 minutes. Like, this is crazy. You know what I mean? I'm like, people are gross. And like there's men there.
Definitely. Yuck.
Yeah. Like there's like
that's
straight men go to other ship.
Yuck.
Straight men. Like the straightest men you've ever seen.
Like
in your
actually
life go to this
straight.
place. Yeah, not just like I'm straight. Like,
and we're like,
no, like no, these are like investment bankers.
Yeah. Derogatory
really weird.
straight.
Derogatory straight. Yeah. Straight as in like straight to hell.
Woo!
Yikes.
Yeah.
How are you, Carly? How are you doing today?
I'm good. I said before, I have a pimple on my butt that's really painful.
That's really too bad.
We've decided you and I to go to the beach after we record, so I'm excited for that. I was crashing a little bit. I feel like I've realized now that my July has basically been like end of June Fringe rehearsal, beginning of July Fringe, and then immediately after like my birthday party and then my birthday. So
non-stop birthday celebrations.
Exactly, which was so much fun. But I'm a bit like, I've been getting a lot of post-nasal drip at night and stuff. And I'm like, I'm worn down. Like, but that's fine. I saw Blackpink for my birthday, which we have to talk about.
Oh my God.
It was at Rogers Stadium, not the Rogers Center. So the Rogers Center is like our arena here. It's where baseball is. So it's big, right? How big is the Rogers Center? Like,
it's like stadium. It's big. It's very large.
Because Rogers Stadium is 50,000, which I think is bigger. Because I think that was the thing. It's like Taylor Swift. The reason she wasn't coming here before was because like we don't have huge stadiums like the States do.
No.
And this was genuinely massive. Like I couldn't believe it. Had to take the subway all the way to Downsview Park.
Horrifying.
So I'm on the subway for 30 minutes, slowly filling up with more and more blinks as we go along. And you get out. Yeah, that's the Blackpink fan, a blink.
Oh, okay.
You thought I was saying a slur?
I thought you
Carly's
were doing
trying
some
out
type
anti-Asian
of new drug.
hate. Oh, yeah. Soft launching. And then you get out and you literally do like a death march on this like gravel path for
God.
10 minutes or whatever. It's really good in the sense that they've obviously really planned to be like, we will not sully the opening of Rogers Stadium with a crowd crush epidemic. Like, there's no point in which you feel scared. I remember like seeing One Direction at the Rogers Center when I was like 14, 15 and leaving and being like, okay, this is it. This is how I go.
This is how I die.
This is how I'm about to die. Like, this is gonna happen.
But it was worth it to see Harry Styles.
Oh, it was great. It was
his little pants.
It was their last tour, so they were all giving coworker. Nobody wanted to be there. It was awesome. So Rogers Stadium was really good for that. It also was. I was like, oh, this would be fun. Like, I think they unveiled the stadium because of the Oasis shows that are happening there. Maybe,
which is crazy.
And I was like, insane. I was like, this would be such a fun place to go to, like a chill concert like that, because it really is like a vibe. There's like so many like different food and drink places. Like it is kind of a vibe.
That's nice. Well, Coldplay played there, didn't they?
Yes, for like a bunch of shows.
Like a bunch of shows.
And there was a period where, because their new song Jump, you know, they were playing it and they're like, everybody jump, and we were on like the bleachers, and it is like truly the most people I've ever seen. It was 50,000 people, I guess.
Oh my god.
And I was like, guys, let's not like, I kept being like, these bleachers are gonna and they didn't. Felt pretty safe, but I was like, there hasn't been enough jumping on these yet. Like, we could.
They haven't been tested and true.
Exactly. Very, very kind of meek and quiet crowd, which I would attribute partially to like people don't go to concerts anymore. Maybe it's a K-pop concert thing. I don't know. I haven't been to another K-pop concert, so I'm interested to know if it's just like a more chill vibe where everyone's just kind of like watching, or if it is just like people don't go to concerts anymore. Because Reese came with me, and by the end he was rocking out, and he really empowered a lot of the boyfriends in our section who were brought to start really dancing. Like, they kept kind of like looking back at him and then being like, yeah, I can rock out too. So that was fun. In the very beginning, it was so funny when they started performing. It was like, I've never seen a show look more like ants in my life. They were so small and doing these dance moves, but they were simply
like the tiniest thing you've ever seen.
They looked like an inch tall. It was insane.
Did they have screens?
They did. So that was great.
That's nice.
Yeah, you're just like watching on the screen, but like that's kind of the vibe anyway. And I didn't pay a lot for these tickets. I think some people have paid like a lot. I think these tickets ended up being like $100 each, which is like a lot, but it's not like good. For a concert ticket these days, not that bad.
Well, this is why I was kind of saying to you, like, I don't really go to, I was really, my one big privilege as a kid was I never paid for concert tickets.
Yes, of course, because you're a Nepo baby.
As I'm a Nepo baby, by the way, if you don't know. And I, like, by the time I got like old enough and I was like, I saw the price of concert tickets, I was like,
you're like, what? Y'all have been paying this the whole time?
You paid this for Def Leppard? Baby.
I don't know.
What the hell are we doing?
I don't know about that.
And because like stadium shows, I just can't, I genuinely can't remember the last time I went to a stadium show. I think it must have been like AC/DC in like 2009. Like, truly, I do not like them. I find them scary. I can't see anything. There's too many people. But now I'm like, I feel like I could do like a good stadium show, but I just can't do like all the, like, I just can't, like, all the people. People are so fucking stupid.
Yeah, you've got to go to a stadium show. I feel like the way that you would go to like a baseball game, where it's like I'm more just going to like sit outside in like nice weather, and hang out than like whatever. Because I agree, I'd never gone. I don't really go to arena shows either because like I'm like I can't see, and I'm not going to pay $2,000 to be close.
That's
so like,
the thing. I'm like, why is it so expensive?
Exactly. So it's like I'm not going to see it, so I don't really care. But this one, I was like, I have the vibe that I don't think they're going to be together for very much longer.
Blackpink.
Yeah, I think that because they're also into their solo projects, and you could see on stage. I was like, I am a big believer in being bored at your job and not really trying, so I do not begrudge them.
Yeah, but I was not like, when you're Blackpink.
They were checked out, and then when they got to do their solo bits, they were like really, really into it. So I think they're just kind of like, I want to do my own thing, and I was like, I do want to see them before I like, because with K-pop groups too, it's like they could like disband, but then like none of their solo activities could like ever bring them to Canada, you know? So I was like, I want to see it. And I was good because I went in being like, oh, it's a stadium. So like, I'm probably just going to like, whatever. They also were closing the subway early. So we had to leave early. Like they were closing the subway at like 11.
What?
So we didn't stay for the encore, which was OT4. All 4 girls singing Apata, Rosé's song. Apata, Apata.
Oh, okay. That's
pretty fun. Which is what I think encores should be more of. Like, I think that you should just not have to make people wait for your most popular song. Just sing the most popular song in the show and then sing it again. Yeah. I would love to hear a song twice. It was like that one concert where Kanye West and Jay-Z, both obviously heavily canceled now, they did N-Words in Paris like 9 times at a show. And I was like, that sounds pretty fun.
The way I would have loved it. Well, this was like, so I went to see Kesha, which was my concert this week.
How was that?
It was interesting. There were parts I really liked. There were other parts I was like, interesting choice.
Love.
What I loved about it is she opened with TikTok just right out the gate. And I was like,
but that's so exciting.
That's
so exciting.
I hate when like, and most artists I feel like will open their concert with a hit, maybe not like the biggest hit, but like one of their hits. And I'm like, yes, like give us what we want. Like set a tone.
Because the tone that sets is like, even people, if they're like getting merch or they're getting food, if they hear like dun 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 dun,
yes,
or that's a different one. That's
song. Oh yes,
hot. That's Hot and Dangerous.
Wake up in the morning, like
and she did like, the whole thing. P Diddy, yikes.
Well, at the concert because she's changed the lyric now. Good. And right before she was like, abusers aren't welcome at Kesha, and she was like, wake up in the morning, like fuck P Diddy.
Oh, I love that.
Which was really quite fun.
But if I was in this, if I heard her start TikTok, I'd be like, we got to run.
Yeah,
like, we got to get out.
We got to get to TikTok. Well, because it does kind of like piss me off too that like people just meander into concerts. I'm like, girl, show up.
Let's show
up.
Even
if you're not coming for the opener, like at least like chill out.
I like to be in my seat for the main act.
Yeah.
I'll also probably watch the opener, but I'm like it was very interesting to me. Like the show started really late because people were doing their march over from Downsview Station, but like they don't have an opener. So they don't have an opener. So usually I was like, I read online, they're like the show starts at like 8:10. So I was like, okay, we're there, whatever. And then they didn't even start until like 8:35, I guess, because it took so long for people to get over. But there was something nice about being like, we don't need an opener. Let's go. Let's start the show.
Yeah, why not? Why else would we do this? No, I know. Well, the one thing about Kesha that I thought was kind of weird is that like she's really like her new album is like the first album she's put out without like Scooter Braun, like kind of owning her own music, and she's on her own record label now, which is cool. And her new music is really fun. I really am liking her new music. It's not one of those things where like I think she had a moment where like she was going through like really kind of like, okay, I'm making music for me. And we got like Praying, like we got like a bunch of kind of more intense songs, but this one's like quite party fun vibes.
Oh, fun. Okay,
nice.
I'll listen. I'll give it a listen.
Red Flag. You got to do.
Okay.
Red Flag is
that on my
the starting point. But she did a bunch of like reproductions of her old songs. So like some of them were almost like unrecognizable because she took away kind of like the opening beat.
Yes, like, you're like, oh shit, what is this? Yeah, I know.
Well, yeah, like she did Timber, and she didn't play the like.
Weird.
She doesn't, and like she just sang it, and then she also did like 4 costume changes into like identical white girdles.
Love,
and I was like, "There's no actually, you could have done the whole show in one outfit. Like you're not.
We don't really care.
You're not really known for clocking a look.
No."
Kesha.
I was really surprised at the Blackpink concert. They would have like 11-minute interludes between like they had 4 acts or whatever.
Yes,
like, it was all just indiscernible. I could not tell you how they decided what was in what act. It's impossible. Where they would just have the dancers dance for like truly 11 minutes while I guess they changed outfits. I was like, oh, the stage will change. No, it just took them a long ass time. I couldn't. It was very, very strange. And there was also a time where they did crowd work, in which they just kind of started to like loosely argue. And then they put all their mics down and just kind of, you couldn't hear what they were saying. Because Lisa was like, oh, Jenny, for your solo set, like, I love that you changed an angle. And then Jenny was like, I didn't change an angle. What are you talking about? And then Lisa was like, I thought you did for the thing. And then Rosé was like, yeah, like maybe she thinks that, like you usually start here and then whatever. And then like they all just kind of like turned their backs to the audience and like put their mics down and just kind of talked.
That's really funny.
It was crazy. It was insane.
The girls are fighting.
And I love them. And I do kind of generally believe like there's too much of a focus on something like this where I'm like, it is their job. Like, I don't really need them to get along more than a coworker gets along. They've been together for like 10 years at this point. Like, I think it's fair to be like, you're on tour. I think there's probably shows where you just start and you're like, oh, vibes are weird tonight. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
Like, vibes are just weird, but we're fine. But it was very strange. There was like just like a lot of moments of like interludes and stuff where I was like, I've never been to a concert like this where the costume changes have taken this long.
Yeah. Well, I just don't know why costume changes are so, like, unless it's kind of built into your show. Like, I feel like Taylor Swift, not that I've seen Taylor Swift, but like, I feel like she builds costume changes into her show.
Because it's different eras, right? So she's dressing like the eras. Also, like, I mean, I don't know. I didn't go to the Eras tour, but I didn't hear anything. I feel like she's doing a quick change. Like, that's what I didn't understand. Like, you don't have a girl waiting for them in the wings, holding the jacket.
They're redoing everything.
Like, they're going to their dressing room and fixing their makeup. Like, are you crazy? I can't see them. They're literally this fucking big.
I know.
Who cares?
I find it extremely confusing.
Texted you. So going into the show, I am a Jisoo bias, Rose bias wrecker.
Okay.
Jenny's solo set was the best by far. It was fantastic.
Did she do like Jenny?
Yeah, she did.
I love that song.
She did like a little interlude of mantra. It's that pretty girl mantra. Mantra. And then she did IE Way Up, which is like the one that I played for you when we were preying for my birthday party. And then she did like Jenny, but it was just like really cool and it looked really cool. Her solo music, I think, just because Rose obviously got a lot more popular with Apata, but like Jenny's solo music is just better produced because she was the most popular member up until then. Like, so it's just better produced music.
Yeah.
Where I think Rose maybe can get that now that she's like got the biggest solo banger out of all of them. Yeah. And like the creative direction was just like, it was just actually really, really cool. Like Reese was very much like, not like he doesn't like Jenny, but he was like, he was like, because Jenny's vibes were very bad on the show.
Like
Let's say that. Not giving face at all, just kind of like straight face, and then like really clocked in for her solo bit in a way where you're like, oh, so she is like a superstar. Like fair enough. Like when she wants to show up, she can.
Yeah. She's got the tools.
Jisoo's solo section was not very good, even though I think her solo album is great.
Sure.
And Lisa, whose solo music I don't like, clocked the fuck in, is like the true performer out of all of them.
I like
and
Lisa
was just fantastic. Like genuinely, I was like, oh my God, like a performer is here, thank God.
Beautiful.
So that's
that.
She's
and like Reese so captivating.
She is genuinely so captivating, and I think you can also tell that because like she's from Thailand, and in like the K-pop system, it's a lot harder for foreign idols to make it through the ranks. Yeah. So you kind of are like, yeah, if she's from not Korea and she's not like Korean descent but living in like Australia or whatever, like she did just have to like work her fucking ass off to get where you have to be undeniable to a certain extent, and she is super undeniable. Like I think her solo music, I think she needs to get a better team. Lisa Stans don't come for me. I love her, but I'm just saying. But she was the only one that seemed happy to be there. Well, she's not engaged, but like maybe engaged to like the guy, like the heir to the LVMH like fashion empire. Like she's about to be rich as
oh my God.
And she's beautiful. Jesus. And she can dance her ass off. And she's just like very charismatic. I asked Reese and he decided which Blackpink member is which Beatle. Do you want to hear?
Okay. Yes, I'm really invested in this actually.
So Jenny is John in that, like, the solo music and the vision, because her vision for what she wants to do is very much there, but kind of mean-coded or, like, the most controversial members and one of the most popular members. Sure. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
But, like, the vision is there, whatever. Then Rosé is Paul, okay? Kind of coming up on her heels, a bit more, like, nice-coded, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good songs, and very much like a spokesperson, because she's also the one that was speaking the most at the concert.
Yes.
This is where it gets contentious, and I was like, oh, I wouldn't have said that, but he explained it, and I think he might be correct. He says Jisoo is George, and Lisa is Ringo. Not necessarily even musical ability, but George is the silent Beatle, and because Jisoo doesn't speak a lot of English, she was basically incredibly silent at this concert besides doing heart hands. The camera would point to her and she would just do heart hands to the audience. And I was like, this is hilarious. Because, like, if I was a performer and I was in a place where I didn't speak English, bitch, that'd be me. Like, I would be heart like, it's like me in, like, the Philippines just being like, hey. Hi! That's it. So yeah, Jisoo's the silent Beatle. And then Lisa's Ringo, because Lisa is kind of like always has a smile on her face, can kind of like show up regardless, enjoy it, even if the band is falling apart.
Happy to be there.
Is happy to be there. And Ringo's the one that they all like. And I do think Jisoo could also be the one that they all like. I think they all seem to really like Jisoo. But I liked his explanation. I was like, okay, I would have switched Lisa and Jisoo before, but I actually think that makes a lot more sense, like the silent Beatle of it all.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Okay, I'll have to take this and think about it. I'm not a big Blackpink stan. I'm not a Blink.
That's okay.
I'll think about it. But I like his analysis. His analysis is really, really solid.
Thank you. And thank you.
And thank you.
But yeah, it was fun. I would recommend, like, if you want to go. It was a really good show. I had a good time.
Wait till Blackpink comes back.
I know. But yeah, I also want to say for the listeners at home, I bought the tickets before that video of them all saying the N-word leaked.
Oh.
Except for Jisoo, my bias. Didn't say it once. And she's the one that spoke the least amount of English, so she would be the one that wouldn't know what it meant more than the others.
Yeah. She'd be the one with the more solid excuse.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of training videos of them all leaked, where it's basically, and somebody did edit it, like, they have an eye for entertainment. Whoever got the leaked video and edited it, where they basically edited them all together to be like Blackpink N-word count, where it was just like seeing how many members said it the most times out of all of these training videos.
Who said it the most?
I think it was either Jenny or Lisa, because they're the rappers.
Oh, no.
So they would have like their monthly evaluations.
Oh, okay.
And they would just say, like, not my apology to accept. I do not have any say in if it's good or bad.
Yeah.
In the context of it, it's not them saying it like out of pocket, but it is still them saying it while rapping, which is not good. Rosé only says it once, but it's during a guitar song, which feels like it should count for like 5 more. I feel like.
Yeah,
I'm like, if you're saying it in the middle of a song you're playing on the guitar, that's got to be weighted way more than a rap.
Throwing an N-word in like an Oasis song.
It's like, what? That's why.
It's
why?
Like, girl, this is "Don't Look Back in Anger."
Why is N-word that in there?
Yeah. No, that's crazy. That's too bad.
Yeah, but just want to get that out there because I feel like somebody's going to be like, why did you do that? And I'll be like, it was before the videos leaked. Let's say that.
Yeah. Also,
but it is,
people do fucked up stuff all over, like, you know. Like,
K-pop is really interesting for that. There's a video essay about it. I feel like if you just search up like K-pop culture vulture, I'm just going to look it up so I can tell you what it is exactly.
Ooh, wanna work with Jenny.
Yeah, it's called Keep K-Pop Korean, the Blackaboo Problem. And it just talks about, it's a Black creator, and she's talking about, she was a K-pop fan growing up, being like, all of K-pop now is basically like culture vulture, like Black culture, but like with no education. And it's this very like interesting thing where like this K-pop group, Kiss of Life, did like a birthday for the band live celebration where the theme was Black, where they just like dressed like kind of Halloween racist costume. It was bad, like gangster kind of thing. And it's really interesting because it's like removed from any kind of real knowledge of Black people. Because the culture is so homogenized, where it's like, it's a different kind of racism than you'd see in the West necessarily, where it's like, this is racism, or like Western racism is born from like stereotypes and anger and based in a real historical context of racism and oppression, right? It's like when white people are racist, it's based in like a long history of white people oppressing Black people, right? And stealing their culture and all these things. So when a white person is like, you know, a rapper and saying the N-word, it's like, it's fucking weird, right? Like, it's really fucking weird. Where it's like, this racism is still bad, but it's based in a lot of them being like, well, we're actually appreciating Black culture because it's the culture that like is, you know, the culture everybody basically wants to steal, right? Like, we're appreciating it because of that, because they don't necessarily have the knowledge of the history of racism, like they'll be like random. There's a new idol group that's mixed, like it's men and women, and there's a guy in it called Tarzan, and he has like box braids. He's like Korean. He's got like box braids and like a grill and stuff. And people are like, no. I'm like, no.
Pop off Tarzan.
And they call it like he's like, it's a black hairstyle. Like they don't know the names for the hairstyles and things like that. You know what I mean? It's just a really interesting video, and it talks about like what it means to be a black K-pop stan when this is what's happening. It's a really, really interesting listen if you're looking for a video essay. But watching that video and then going to a Blackpink concert, which is obviously not as bad as like Tarzan, but it is weird being like, okay, so like all of K-pop is just like just stealing and watering down black culture. Like that's all it is. Like it is. And like there's a line in one song, Blackpink song, where it's like using AAVE like incorrectly, where it's like you can finna catch me, which is like not because you can say you finna catch me, like you're gonna catch me, but it's like you can finna catch, like stuff like that where you're like,
you
it's just
finna
like
catch me.
You can. It's just stuff like that where you're like, it is so strange. Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It's like based in ignorance, but also like you're not ignorant because like you've obviously studied it, but like you haven't looked any deeper.
It's literally a costume. Like it's literally like a costume. And again, it's like there's not a real like, and there are idols who are doing the work and even like making YouTube videos where they interview like the black creators that write songs for K-pop or do creative design for like K-pop groups. But for the most part, it's like unless you're actively engaging with your biases, you're just like not around enough black people to like educate yourself. So they genuinely don't understand why it's bad. You know, it's very strange. Anyways, it's Keep K-pop Korean is the YouTube video. It's really good.
Okay, interesting. I'll add it to the list.
Yeah.
To the list.
Should we talk about Superman?
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's take a little break and then dive in.
Yay.
Okay, but wait, I want to hear your opinions on the movie first.
Oh yeah, loved, obsessed. I went in and you had said like cuz you had seen it before and you were like you should go see it. I don't want to like speak it too highly. I don't want to speak too highly of it because I don't want it to be underwhelming then. And I was like, "Oh, don't worry about that. Like I don't care about superheroes at all. And I really don't care about Superman at all. And we'll get into why as we talk about like his powers and stuff when we do talk about the history of and the ideation of Superman. I was not it's weird because my sister actually loves superheroes, so it's not nature over nurture, like, but like my parents weren't into superheroes. I don't give a fuck about them. I don't really care. I'm famously kind of anti-magic. I don't really and then that's not to say that I don't like it, but like in a story I find that that's not enough to get me to stay. Like I'm not just like, whoa, he has powers. Like I need like a narrative. I need something compelling. That I just don't care. Like when I was reading Harry Potter, it's like I wasn't like, oh my god, the wizarding world. It was like I found the characters and the relationships a lot more compelling to me than like
for sure
the world. So I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna like Superman, you know?
Yeah.
Especially because he doesn't have like the narrative, like he's very powerful, right? So it's like hard to kind of build a narrative around somebody that's like very good and very powerful. But I thought the movie was fucking fantastic. I just thought it was a good movie. I didn't know that it was the same guy that did Guardians of the Galaxy, which I also did like when I saw it, where it's like genuinely actually funny and a good narrative with good characters that I cared about. I also think that they did a really good job with Lois Lane. Like usually a character like that is so annoying. I want to
boots down.
Like she's just like an actual character who's doing her own things. And I think they made Superman interesting, like this idea of like being good, but like what does it mean to be good? I like that he saved that squirrel. I know people thought it was stupid. I like that.
No, I loved it. I think like also in terms of just like fantasy and magic and stuff like that, I think that they are good vehicles for narrative. You know, and I think that people get misconstrued where it's like, it's the same thing we were talking about last episode with like Star Trek and Doctor Who kind of being like a way to observe how we act as humans. I think it is the same with fantasy and superheroes and stuff like that.
You're so right.
And I do think it's so interesting because I've been thinking a lot about Superman. And so I'm excited to hear the history because I kind of like, I know like bits and pieces, but I don't know kind of like the full thing. But I've been thinking about it a lot just in terms that like superheroes often like in my time watching like a lot of Marvel movies, because I used to really follow the Marvel Cinematic Universe up until like Avengers Endgame, which is where I kind of dropped off, which was kind of like the first kind of like set of movies. And then after that, it for me personally kind of fell apart. But what I liked about that was that you could jump into any movie really without knowing the other ones. And if you watch the other ones, you would get like Easter eggs, but you wouldn't be confused.
You can just enjoy it. That's like, again, that's kind of Star Wars as well. And I think you're right. Yes. It's like people get misconstrued where they think, I agree, like magic and this kind of like otherworldliness or powers or whatever can be such a great vehicle for narrative. And people get confused when they think that it is the narrative, where I'm like, I don't care enough about this superpower for it to be all that there is. But if it's representative of something else, which like I think was, and we'll get into that when we talk about this, but like, I think superheroes, much like detective fiction, we rarely see an uptick in it when we're in these times of great upheaval, because we want to believe that people are out there doing good things or trying, somebody's out there trying to solve crimes. Somebody's out there trying to do good. So that is like interesting when you see it kind of come in and out of vogue in that way. And maybe that is why the Superman is so nice, because it's like it is political, which I liked. It's so funny because I remember reading like a little interview with James Gunn where he was just like, it's so funny that people think that it's about Israel and Palestine because it's not. And I'm like, girl, there's a star on the flag. Like, mama, what are you talking about?
Well, this is the thing that it's, yeah, I do think it's interesting too, because I always think with superhero movies, like we really use them as a mirror to look at what we think will save us. And I think it's so interesting to look at like the MCU, and at the beginning, like when Iron Man came out, the first like MCU movie, it was very kind of like we were very like Obama era, but we're in a recession. Like we need things to feel like they're going to get better, and like our trusts were in like innovation, in technology, in good government, like America kind of returning to this kind of like beacon of hope in World War II with Captain America and stuff like that.
And then I think it was start with like, sorry to interrupt, but didn't it also start with like Iron Man, a movie where it's like Brown, he's kidnapped by like, is it a real country or is it just like, who is he kidnapped by in Iron Man? Because isn't he kidnapped by like a brown country? Because I remember Sachin talking about how like they're supposed to be like quote unquote terrorists, but they're like speaking like Hindu, like they're just like, it's like crazy. They're speaking like 7 different languages and none of them are.
Honestly,
so that's also interesting.
Remember?
Yeah, but it is interesting in that way again too, of like so much of our media at that time is also so like post 9/11 anti-terrorism, war on terror as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's 100% absolutely telling that like the force that we're scared of is kind of like terrorism in another country. What we think will save us is like all this stuff. We're laying it out very plain. And then even though it's not in the MCU, but I thought that kind of like the death toll for the MCU a little bit was the success of the TV show The Boys. Because it really did turn it on its head, where it's like, oh, like the government actually is bad, and we are now kind of like in this mix of movies that is telling us that's not the case. It really
undermines it. Well, especially like we've talked about, I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast, but we've talked about before that like basically every single superhero movie is just like military propaganda. And it's 100%. Like fun. It's fun military propaganda. Like,
but like it is military propaganda.
But it is. It's like the best thing we need to invade these other countries now. Mm-hmm. With our superheroes and do X, Y, and Z, right? So it is so, I think you're right. And I think it's also like, the second something gets ironic with its own form, it can only last for so long. Like, I know people loved Deadpool when it first came out, but I think that is also kind of the thing of like, that's like something that can only happen at the peak of something of like,
oh, sure.
What I really liked about Superman is that it was funny without being like ironic. I think I'm exhausted by this idea of like ironic, sarcastic humor, because it's not done well ever. Like before we saw Superman, there was that one trailer for like that Cat in the Hat movie, the Dr. Seuss movie, and it starts with
that too.
Yeah, it starts with Cat in the Hat like wanting to open a box, and it's like building all this tension, and then it just has this little guy be like, "Yeah, I don't think you should open that." And then the kind of has like, why? It's like, because it says you should not open it or whatever. And it's like supposed to be like this funny, it's said in the cadence of a joke.
Yeah.
But it's just not funny.
Yeah,
and
just because
like,
you're saying something like a joke doesn't mean it's funny.
Exactly. And the idea is like you're building all this tension to cut it. You know that can get a big laugh by cutting the tension. But you can't be asked to actually write a joke. So you're just putting in like a thing that breaks the tension, hoping that it's a joke.
Yeah.
Which I think is a lot of like, again, that's like a misunderstanding of like the success of the first Deadpool, which I didn't see, but I've seen a lot of clips of it. And like whether you like it or not, like at least is funny. At least is writing jokes. Same with Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever. And The Boys is like that too. But then it's like once something starts becoming a joke of itself and being a parody of itself.
Well, yeah, because I think that like the MCU kind of panicked at that point in terms of trying to like keep the story interesting. You know, like amidst the backlash, I think that like the good thing that they did was kind of like, you know, you had like Black Panther, which was an excellent standalone film. Guardians of the Galaxy was an excellent standalone film. Winter Soldier was an excellent standalone film. And I think that they, you know, kind of panicked in keeping it together. And I think that's when, for the actual like cinematic universe, people were less invested in that and more invested in the individual movies. But what I think you're absolutely right about the undercutting, where it's like the same as like when you're doing an improv scene and you come on and you're like, I'm a giant talking squid. And someone goes, squids don't talk. It's like,
and you're like, well, then we're done here. Aren't we done here?
Cheap laugh. And now nothing else is
now
gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but what I really thought was amazing about the new Superman, and obviously if you're watching this and you don't want spoilers, I'm sorry, you're in the wrong place.
You're going to get some. Yeah.
But what I really loved about it that I thought stood out to me as like just really, in my opinion, like holding up the mirror to like what we think is going to save us, is that the government is the enemy. And it totally turned on the head of like what makes you super, where it's like, he really thought at the beginning of the movie, like, he's like, you know, I'm born with these powers. I was sent to Earth by my parents. And that is why I am saving humanity, because of like who I was born as. And then by the end of the movie, I think that's why I think the ending is going to go down in history as like a really kind of like all-time ending, because it is him realizing, like watching the clips of his like adopted parents, that like his superpower is his kindness and his care for people.
When that's what he says in the thing, it's like, that's
beautiful.
kind of the most punk rock thing in the way. It's just being kind. I was also struck by, from a writing perspective, I think so often the best thing to do, and I think this will in many ways fuck a lot of superhero movies and other movies in the future, because so often the rule of thumb is like, you need to simplify your message, right? Like, don't try and make a comment on everything happening in the modern world. Don't explore 7 complex questions. Explore 1. But that's not what this movie does, but it's fantastic. Like, they have the monkeys, which are the bots. They have the evil billionaire that's not being stopped by the government. We have the idea that these conflicts are created by these billionaires to move money. We have basically, like, whether you see it as Israel and Palestine or Russia and Ukraine, but in conversations about that. There's like, and then there's like 7 more things that are also like, it's like there's that question of what happens when these superheroes get involved in these global conflicts. Like, now these superhumans are the ones, like, which is interesting, because you're like, obviously in this situation this is for the good, but it is a question when you have like a group of 10 people who have all the power to basically stop whatever, right? I like the idea of a corporate superhero group. That's really funny.
It is,
you know, all
funny.
these different things, like, and you obviously have, like, it's a bit heavy-handed, but sometimes the most basic metaphor is the most effective one, where at the end he's basically fighting evil him, like he has to do that, all these things. And this idea of an origin story. Superman gets canceled because his origin story slipped on his head. Like, there's so many things that this deals with. The idea of like billionaires and evil kind of scientists just creating things that they shouldn't create because they want to, and all these things, right? Like, there is so much going on, too much going on, but it's not too much going on. Like, I couldn't believe how much it reflected. I also think like a superhero movie, when done well, especially with a character that is kind of like a hyper masculine ideal like Superman, can say way more about what it means to be a man today than like an indie like coming of age. Like, I think that Superman has more to say about the benefits and positives of being a man and what it feels like, the fight between the evil and the good and the choice to be good, than like, I don't know, some movie that's like misinterpreted Fight Club and is now trying to do that.
Well,
so it's interesting.
I had a friend who wrote their Letterboxd review as like every 15-year-old boy should mandatorily watch this movie, and I do agree.
Yeah,
because I think that like, and you're totally right. I think that it hits so many topics so well, and it again, like, it doesn't focus in. It can lean towards being heavy-handed, but it's like extremely effective in terms of like, you don't have to be extremely savvy with your understanding of cinema to understand what they're trying to say. And I think that when it boils down, it's sort of like, how do you be a superhero for a world that's forgotten kindness? And that's really, I think, because they stick to that and they expand off of that, because that does kind of feel like the world feels very mean right now. Like, everyone's just very mean to each other. Like, what does a superhero look like dealing with the issue of losing the idea of kindness and thought for your fellow man?
Definitely. And you build your own narrative, right? Like, he comes in the beginning with this idea that his like, and it's ultimately for the good, but he definitely has a real sense of entitlement at the beginning of the film, like understanding that this message, which is, by the way, I immediately laughed when like the Bradley Cooper hologram, like,
so
you can't just be like, oh, here's a hologram of my dad, and then it's fucking Bradley Cooper. Like, you can't do that, because now I'm like, is everybody, when that clip gets shown on TVs, everyone in this universe like, that looks a lot like fucking Bradley Cooper.
It's Bradley Cooper.
So that's Bradley Cooper. We know this. But it's like, you know, it's so powerful to watch somebody go through that kind of emotional journey of going from thinking like, I am entitled to this narrative that I am good and I am put here on this earth to do good. And I believe that because of this story I've told myself in this self kind of like myth, to go from that to being like, no, like, I choose to do good. Like, I was put here on this earth to do good because I choose to do good and be kind. It is also just like amazing. Like, I think it is the thing of like, if you're a real, like, I think a lot about like, with authors that I like, their 4th or 5th book is really when they start to cook for me, generally speaking. And I think that's what you should aim for as an author. I think that it really sucks when your first book is the most interesting book you do, and then you kind of get watered down because of criticism or whatever, your own kind of like lore, like the own kind of story of your whatever shot to fame can kind of bog down the creative vision. And it was so cool seeing this movie and being like, oh yeah, like, if somebody's just really good at making superhero movies and makes a bunch, they can just make a really good fucking movie. Like, it's cool to see somebody just be like, no, I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm gonna make a really, really good movie. I'm getting better with everyone. Yeah. So that was cool.
Like, let me cook.
And I'm excited for Supergirl. I am.
Me too. Millie Alcott.
Love her.
Oh, Australian little House of the Dragon.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah,
shall we talk?
Let's get.
What were you gonna say?
Let's fucking dive. No, that's it. I'm like, okay. I'm just ready.
So first we'll talk about, you're seated. First we'll talk about Superman's origins. So Superman is created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. They meet at Glenville High School in Cleveland. Huge. And they kind of bond over a love of science fiction and their shared creativity. And they publish a science fiction magazine, just that's called Science Fiction.
Oh, the good old days.
Right?
Like, imagine we started the podcast, we just called it Podcast. What a life. One of those days.
Because it's the first one. We can just
it's the first one. We can just call it Podcast. We can call it Girl Podcast.
Podcast of Girl. So it featured drawings by Shuster and stories by Siegel under various nom de plumes. There was only 5 issues ever created, and now they're considered collectibles. One copy was sold in 2018 for $50,000.
Okay, let's get one.
So the origin of the Superman character was first created in their 1933 short story, The Reign of Superman, and he was actually a villain. He was a bald-headed villain hell-bent on dominating the world. So he's kind of like Lex Luthor.
Yeah, he's giving Lex.
But the story did not sell well and people didn't like it, so they went back to the drawing board and reimagined Superman as this superhero and tried to sell this iteration of Superman. But they had a really hard time selling it to magazines or newspapers because it was incredibly similar to Philip Wiley's 1930s novel Gladiator. And they were like, it's too similar. We can't like publish something that's literally Gladiator, which had just come out like
Interesting.
4 years before.
Is this
And
Gladiator that like Gladiator the movie's based on, or?
I don't think it's the one that like the movie.
Okay.
I don't think so, because this Gladiator is like a superhero.
Yeah, I guess Gladiator's just like a word as well.
Yeah. Because they basically have the same powers and they both have the ability to grow their powers, but Gladiator grows his powers through self-confidence, where Superman Superman grows his powers through the sun.
I wonder why self-confidence guy didn't take off.
I know, in the 30s. I think the world is finally ready for Gladiator. I think the world is finally ready for a superhero that believes in himself.
I believe in myself, so I'm powerful.
Wow.
Bluey ass superhero.
So they send this pitch for Superman to National Comics in New York City, and it remains unpublished. It's kind of in their slush pile.
Sure.
And then the publisher is creating a new magazine called Action Comics, and they're really stuck on an appropriate cover for this first iteration of the magazine. And an employee at Action Comics is like, "Oh wait," and goes to the slush pile and is like, "This is actually pretty sick." And it's their pitch for Superman, which features a drawing of Superman lifting up a car.
Yes, I've seen this.
And they were all like, it's really ridiculous, but kind of like evocative and funny. Schuster's drawing style is also like kind of an anomaly. It's funny in comics how like now everybody kind of, I think for a long time it's kind of become the blueprint in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very crude. Like it was not artistic. It was not detailed. It's much more similar to like a diagram than anything else. But that's, I think, why it works so well for kids, is like it's incredibly easy to understand and it's incredibly clear, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, this kind of sucks, but whatever, it's funny, it's weird. So they contact Schuster, and Siegel, and they ask them to produce a 13-page story for the debut of Action Comics, which later becomes DC Comics.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So in this deal, they sell the rights to Superman to Action Comics for $130 with a contract to supply the publisher with material.
Okay.
And by the fourth issue of Action Comics has become incredibly popular. And the publisher's like, why? So the publisher goes down to the newsstand and waits until somebody buys an Action Comics to like ask them why they bought it. And he asks this little boy, and the little boy's like, well, I just really like Superman.
Okay, I love that. Market research, baby.
Exactly. And you talked about this a bit in the last episode, but we also should talk about Superman's Canadian ties. Schuster was born in Toronto, and Metropolis is modeled on Toronto, which is funny because it's got to be like 1930s Toronto, which is so funny that it was still like a big enough city. I guess that's why Metropolis does kind of feel like not big enough to be New York, because it's like Toronto pre everybody coming here because of the FLQ.
The FLQ. Pre-FLQ Toronto.
Huge. And Superman, when he is Clark Kent, famously works for the Daily Planet, which you had said, which is true, is based on the Toronto Star, which is our newspaper, that Schuster delivered newspapers for as a boy.
Yeah, and they modeled the building off of the old Toronto Star building, which is very cool.
Which we love. We love that.
There's a Joe Schuster Way in Toronto that I actually live near, which I couldn't tell you guys before, but I'm moving, so I'm doxing myself. Guys, come to my house. If you can find me, I'm within a 10-minute walk of Joe Schuster Way.
Wow.
Come find my ass. I don't care. I'm moving. By the time this comes out, I'll be moved.
Love. It's interesting because I didn't end up finishing it, but I do want to read, Michael Chabon's The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, which is a book.
Yeah.
And it won the Pulitzer. And I do love Michael Chabon. I've read a couple of his books. I think he's he's a fantastic writer. Mm-hmm. And that is about two like young boys who meet and write comic books together. And I didn't finish it, so I don't know, but a lot of it seems very similar. Yeah. Because I also believe it's a lot about like Jewish identity in America. And I think that they're Jewish. I think Schuster, at least, I didn't look this up before, but let me look it up just to be.
I mean, I think you've gotta.
Otherwise, I'm just being, I'm profiling based on last names, and that's not great.
Well, I mean, how else do you figure things out?
Right? They're that way for a second. They were sons of Jewish people who escaped to America to avoid Oh, okay. It was before the Holocaust happened. It's pogrom, which is the violent attacks on Jews by the non-local Jewish population. By the local non-Jewish population.
Oh, okay.
That makes more sense than the non-local, you know what I mean?
It's like, this is so interesting.
So I'd imagine it's that thing like the Night of the Broken Glass and stuff like that, where like there was just more and more.
Kristallnacht.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's tough.
So yeah, they escaped to America. So there we go. So I would imagine that the Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay is in some way based on the creators of Superman, right? That's kind of
that sounds
too close to just be,
to be coincidental.
Yes. So we're going to now talk about the kind of creation and changes in Superman based on the different ages in Superman's life. They have like the Golden Age, the Silver Age, the Bronze Age, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So we'll talk about it through that.
Okay.
So first we have the Golden Age, which is from 1938 to 1955. And it's important to know, obviously, this is around the time of like, it's like World War II and then post World War II, right? And we see the US entering World War II during this time. Better late than never, guys. Hey.
Gotta dive in.
Hey. Thanks for doing that, by the way. Coming in super, super late. And only when it really concerned you. Only when you guys were at risk, you're like, actually, wait a second.
Wait.
Now that Pearl Harbor's happened, I don't fuck with y'all anymore.
We're pissed. They also entered World War I late.
Get your shit. And here's the thing. That's not necessarily in and of itself bad, but the narrative, as somebody who was raised in America, is like, guys, we did it. Like, there is such a weird, like, military, a real pride in the military when it's like, you guys are coming in late. You have pride in the military. Get your ass there on time, like Canada.
Yeah. Show up for work. Show up work for mommy England, please.
Okay, clock in. Okay, like Canada, clock in.
Clock in, please. Thank you.
So the genre of superheroes becomes incredibly popular kind of like with the advent of World War II, as we talked about before, this kind of idea of like, we need what's going to get us out of the situation. But this like, because so much of superheroes, like, it's basically help. Because so much of superhero stuff is like this huge threat to the city, right? And a lot of times that destruction mirrors bombing and stuff like that, right? Like, it's like, we need to stop this destruction of our cities. Superheroes come out of that. It makes sense to me.
Yes.
And during World War II, Superman was used as a figure of hope for readers in America and soldiers. And this was evident in many of the Superman studio animated shorts of the era, in which Superman is helping allies win the war and is often shown at odds with Japanese spies and German espionage agents.
Okay.
So it's very much kind of, we couldn't remember exactly, but the first Iron Man, where you're like, okay, so this is about
this is pretty on the nose of what we're talking about here.
Got it. And we will get to this later because Hitler does come up, and it's very funny. Not that like Hitler is funny. Obviously, have I introduced you to the fact that in the last week or so, I guess my YouTube Explore page has been just kind of serving me up video essays about the Holocaust. And it'll be like, everything the boy in the striped pajamas got wrong.
Huge.
The tattooist of Auschwitz, like what was real and what was not, and whatever. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
But it really sent me down a tailspin last week where I was like, not that I've been joking about Hitler. I haven't.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, this is not funny. Like,
oh yeah, no, it's really not.
And then I was reading about Mel Brooks, and his like lifelong journey to basically be like, I'm getting even with Hitler by making him like the laughing stock. So I was really sad about it. And then Reese was like, okay, like let's just watch a movie, and we watched Step Brothers, and there's like a Hitler gag in Step Brothers. And I was like, oh, that is kind of good though, that like this like small, sad, pathetic little fascist, all he wants, it's like Napoleon a bit, like it's like all he wants is to be seen as powerful. And now in the modern world, it's like he's the butt of a joke of like a loser kind of like baby. You know what I mean? Like, it's never like Hitler's cool. It's like Hitler screams and is petulant and almost like childlike and stupid. And they
even like when people say like,
way.
oh, could you kill baby Hitler? It's like, sure, but also like now we're all just thinking about like baby Hitler all the time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, like
and that's like a big thing that Mel Brooks has talked about in his career, being like, I've been getting even with Hitler by making him a laughing stock.
Yeah.
And there was a funny thing because I was just reading an interview with him. I guess he released a new sketch series in the last last 3 or 4 years. And there's a sketch in which Hitler is ice skating and he's just doing really badly. Like he's just like bad at ice skating. And one of the
Yeah, suck it,
commentators
fucker.
says, one of the commentators says, I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you're going to invade countries that aren't yours to impose fascism on them, you better be flawless on the ice. Like stuff like that. Like you're just like, this is funny and ultimately good. So just interesting. And that's not related to when Hitler's about to come up in these comics.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, it was a journey that I kind of went down the last couple of weeks reading about. And being like, it is cool how like there's been kind of this like unanimous, especially spearheaded by like Jewish American creators and like refugees after the Holocaust, to just be like, Hitler sucks, guys. We're going to portray this kind of person. It's almost this like petulant boy king. And it's kind of interesting that that's like changed the narrative completely.
Yeah.
Because I also watched Rat Race recently. Have you seen Rat Race?
No.
You have to. It's so fun. It's on Netflix. It's basically like a reboot of like It's a Mad, Mad World, where John Cleese plays a billionaire who runs a casino, and he picks a bunch of people at random to basically go on this wild goose chase where it's like there's a locker in this Arizona or like New Mexico train station, and whoever gets there first and uses their keys will get $1 million or whatever. So they're all racing there. Whoopi Goldberg. We've got Whoopi Goldberg. We've got Seth Green.
Oh my God.
Fucking Mr. Bean, that guy. Mr. Bean, Cuba Gooding Jr. It's really, really good. It's funny.
I love this.
And there's a bit in it
Kathy Bates.
where Kathy Bates, uncredited. I don't want to spoil the joke entirely, but there's like this is just one part joke that I do think is so funny, where basically John Lovitz is playing like a dad, and he's dragged his entire family on a family vacation to Las Vegas, and then he gets picked, and he's like, okay, he's lying to his family, trying to get them to be like, oh, we're gonna do a road trip, it'll be so fun, because he wants to get the money. And they're driving, and his daughter sees like Barbie Museum, and he's like, can we stop at the Barbie Museum, please? He's like, no, we've got to go. And his wife's like, we need to stop at the Barbie Museum. This has just been about you. We need to do something nice. And then Barbie is actually the last name. It's like of like one of Hitler's right hand men, and it's it's like a neo-Nazi museum. And it's this Jewish family being like, we've got to get out of here. And as they're leaving, like this like skinhead is like, where are you going? And they're like, oh, we're just off to a christening, one of the many christenings of our cousins, of our Christian family members or whatever. And then they leave and they steal a car that was Hitler's car. They steal Hitler's car.
That's awesome.
And like his son starts playing a harmonica he finds under the seat, and he's like, don't play Hitler's harmonica. Like just funny kind of gags like that. And you're like, it's nice that we've gotten to a place in which like, again, all of the butt of this joke is being like, Hitler would hate that this Jewish family is now like fucking around in his car. It's taking his car. It was cool. Yeah.
That's funny.
I would recommend Rat Race. There's a couple of jokes in it. It's from like 1999. There's a couple of jokes in it where you're like, whoa, ooh, I don't know. But it is funny.
Okay. I watched the original Naked Gun the other day.
Oh yeah,
and
was
it's the same thing. Oh my God, it is just so funny. To be honest, like the end kind of like peters off, where it's like it's not really like enough plot to keep you really engaged. But oh my God, is it funny? Just the visual gags. O.J. Simpson in it, by the way, just getting absolutely thrown around. But the way
I'll watch, because I do want to see the.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
The reboot or the sequel or whatever.
Yes, I want to see the new one really badly. Pamela Anderson, obsessed. Love. But oh my God, there's so many gags of him just not. And this is like exactly. I think I forgot how much I idolized Leslie Nielsen as a kid, where I'm just like, this is so much of like what I think of funny, where it's just like he cannot drive a car properly at all. And every time he tries to park, something fucking like he just can't drive a car. It is so funny. It just gets worse and worse every time. Like oh my God, like he just like crashes shit. He sets shit on fire. Like he gets out of the car falls into the lake. Like there's so many visual
just
gags.
Like gags. We are missing the visual gag. It's worth saying. When I watched A Fish Called Wanda, they have like a gag where basically a dog just gets flattened by like an anvil. Like they're trying to kill someone and she's walking 3 dogs, and basically every single time they try to kill her, she'll like, somebody will try to hit her with a car, but then she'll stop, but then one of her dogs will get hit by the car, and then the next day they'll try and drop an anvil on her, and then the anvil doesn't hit her, hits her dog, right? But like they then use like practical effects to just make a flat dog, like kind of like a Roadrunner-esque like Looney Tunes comedy. there's also like a character in that movie gets flattened by a steamroller, but it's like he's like stuck in cement and he's like, whoa, don't come, and then he's like, I'm gonna get you, but it's such a slow steamroll, like stuff like that. It's like we're really missing the kind of Monty Python, that kind of era of like just visual gags.
Oh yeah, I'm also screaming because someone also gets flattened with a steamroller and a Naked Gun.
It's steamrollers really had a moment. We need to bring back steamroller comedy
anymore.
This is why big budget comedies don't work.
I know.
This is why they're flopping at the box office. It's because nobody's getting flattened by a steamroller anymore. We are losing recipes. Reject modernity, embrace tradition, i.e., flattening people with a steamroller. It's funny.
I know. I really think I think we've cracked the code, which is that like modern comedy, like there's nothing that you can look at. So if you're not laughing at the jokes, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God. I remember
like watching somebody talk about this on like a YouTube channel that was about like screenwriting or whatever, and talking about how like when you what are those British movies about the cops? I've seen one of them. I thought it was really funny. But it's like a Simon Pegg movie. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. Why am I Shaun? Like Shaun?
But you know what I'm talking about.
Not Shaun of the Dead. Yeah. Shit. Oh my God. Sorry. This is going to drive me crazy if I can't find it.
I can just look up. It's Simon Pegg is in it. So
yeah. Shaun of the Dead is the same crew.
Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz. There we go.
Hot Fuzz. But they were talking about how like that movie really, really utilizes like directing techniques to make things funnier, which I think is also why we see like the advent of like the mockumentary, because there's so many like actual like visual things you can use to make the jokes hit harder or to make the emotional moments hit harder. Like if you watch any kind of mockumentary like Abbott Elementary, The Office, Parks and Rec, you'll always notice, well, first of all, comedy lives in the wide, right? So there's a lot of wide shots, right? And visual gags. But also they'll shoot anything that's very vulnerable, a vulnerable moment between the characters from really far away or from through windows. So it feels more intimate and stuff. Like they use the filming and the direction to serve the content. And they do that in Hot Fuzz too, where they have a lot of like visual gags with the way they shoot stuff. And I'm sure there's other examples. I just can't think of it. And I was like, and the point they're making, which is true, is like the modern American comedy doesn't use that. Like you don't have those moments where like, and like, I think, the Holy Grail does this really well too. Like at that very ending scene where it just becomes like they all get arrested. Like it's shit like that. That's like so stupid, but plays with the convention of what a movie is. Being like, we're either going to not break the fourth wall and use the conventions of a movie to serve the gags, or you're going to break the fourth wall and use that as a gag to get laughs, like that the cameraman gets hit by something or whatever. Right. Like, and we don't really get that with a lot of big budget comedies anymore. And like those stuff is funny. Like I really enjoyed Bottoms. Like I thought that was like the closest I've seen to like an actual like really, really funny movie in theaters. Or like Wes Anderson gets a lot of gags because again, that's somebody who's like using a visual language to serve the purpose. And I think we've lost that a bit because I think Judd Apatow brought in, and love Judd Apatow, I do, but it was a very naturalistic style of comedy, which worked for the era that it was for. But now we're doing that and we're not using all the tools at our disposal to get the laughs that we've lost. Nobody's getting flattened by a steamroller.
And that's really fucking funny. We really like to see people get flattened. I also think like high concept things. I think there were a lot of comedies made for people in their like late 30s and 40s specifically. Like this is 40, like whatever, all this stuff. I'm like, we need the like timeless comedies. Like we need the comedies that are enjoyed by like 60-year-olds and also children.
And is like visual comedy to a certain extent.
Because it's funny.
Like, it is weird that we've lost that. And I think I don't know how we get it back in a big budget sense. I think we can. I don't think it's like gone forever, but I think it's like we need somebody to just really do it really well. Because it is. I think everything's a bit too naturalistic and not kooky enough. Like in Rat Race, I forget the actor's name, but it's the actor who plays Mr. Bean. Rowan Atkinson. I do have a bone to pick with him, and that I do think Mr. Bean is funny, and I think in a lot of other things Rowan Atkinson is not funny and doing Mr. Bean, but that's fine. Rowan Atkinson does not, like, listen, he's doing fine. So, like, me having beef with him, he's sitting up pretty on his billions of dollars, surely.
He's sitting on his big bean.
His big bean full of the money from all the Mr. Bean checks he's cashed. And in this movie, he plays an Italian guy who has narcolepsy. So he's like, oh, it's a race. Good. It's a race. And then he falls asleep. So it's like all that stuff. Wayne Knight is also in it, who plays Newman in Seinfeld. But it is just like him just like falling asleep in the middle of the hotel lobby. I'm like, this would make my grandfather fucking laugh.
Yeah, like that is funny. Like that is classically funny. It's just someone doing something they're not supposed to. Yeah, someone doing their job badly.
Exactly.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, team, okay. I'll watch it.
You should. I really, really enjoyed it. Okay, so Superman has quick success during this golden age, and the demand for Superman stories exceeded the creator's ability to produce them, so progressively more and more work was done by assistants under the Schuster and Siegel byline. But as I said before, Schuster's style was really hard to replicate because it was quite crude, and by like a drawer's standard, not good. So the assistants would often try and polish it, which would ruin the visual look of the comics because they would seem too commercial in a way.
Yeah. Ew.
At this time, Superman also grows into radio programming, newspaper clips, animated and live action movies. And they also had his morality improved upon, right? Which is how we get this like net good Superman. Because in the early comics, he is pretty bleak and he kills a lot of people. He beats,
as you do.
He beats a robber to death with his bare hands. Okay. Because the robber tries to shoot him. And there was a bit of like a minor backlash at the time, which we see time and time again, where parents were like, this is for kids. Like, this is way too violent for kids.
You can't like kill someone with your bare hands. Like,
no.
Let's relax.
So then they add Superman's strict moral code that he doesn't harm another human being, like living being, right?
I like that. Yeah.
And through the 1940s and the duration of the 1950s, Superman becomes by far the most popular character in comics. And then by the mid-1950s, there's only a few characters that are able to challenge him, which are like other Golden Age comic book characters like Wonder Woman and Batman, right?
Sure.
They expand Superman's powers to include laser vision, breathing in space, and the ability to travel through time. And we'll get more into this because this narrative kind of like grows as we go through the different Superman ages. More and more issues of the comics involve what they call imaginary stories, which are stories that take place out of universe with the characters in a different situation that has no bearing on the plot or the canon of the actual canon. It's basically like the multiverse before the multiverse was a thing. Huge. Where it'll be like Superman, but instead, I mean, this is not what there's probably like real ones, but it's like Superman and Lois Lane, but Lois Lane is Superman or whatever, right? And it's like, it's, you know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that.
Then we go to the Silver Age, which is 1955 to 1971, where they want to revamp Superman. We get the first appearance of Krypto, the Superdog. We get Superman's Fortress of Solitude, his like HQ. And supporting characters get their own publications like Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane. And there's a more focus on like the greater kind of characters of the Superman universe. Mm-hmm. We also get Supergirl, and we get Lex Luthor's clone, Bizarro. So Lex Luthor is like the main Superman villain. And in the earlier iterations, he's a mad scientist. Yes. And I included this because I didn't know. I've heard the term and used the term being like, oh my God. Like if I knew somebody who was like you, but evil, it's like, oh, that's Bizarro World Blair. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like an evil clone is Bizarro World X, right? But that's because Lex Luthor's clone is named Bizarro.
Oh, that's cool.
And Lex Luthor is evil, but I guess this clone is more evil.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a different iteration.
It's a different iteration. And I'm famous for hating alternate universe things. Fucking in Star Trek, they do this alternate universe where everybody there dresses in all black and has like a goatee. Like, you know, in Community, when they have like the alternate universe episode and they're all wearing goatees, it's literally because they're like, oh, alternate universe Spock, by the way, is just Spock with a goatee.
Yeah.
It's mind-bogglingly annoying. It's so annoying to me.
Well, he's got a beard.
Yeah, so he's evil.
He's evil. Evil men have beards.
In 1960, it's reported that Schuster and Siegel get paid $75,000 a year. Which I guess is a lot in like $1960, but still feels low.
Here, $75,000? I'll do the conversion.
Yeah, $75,000 from 1960 to now.
Okay. Okay, that's over $800,000.
Okay, that feels good.
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
They ask for more money in 1964, which gets them fired and prompts a legal battle between them and DC Comics, which ends in 1967, in which they sign away further right to the character in exchange for $200,000 each.
Okay.
Their names get taken off the byline. And at this time, imaginary stories become more and more popular, imagining characters in different situations. So they become more popular. And also in the Silver Age, they change a lot of the lore. So they basically get to the end of the Silver Age and realize that Silver Age Superman and Golden Age Superman are quite different from each other in terms of their powers, how powerful they are, and even just like how morally good they are and stuff like that.
Yeah, what they're setting out to do.
Exactly. So Julius Schwartz comes up with the idea of the multiverse to explain away these things. And they basically make it so that Silver Age Superman is called Kal, which you'll of course remember from Gal Gadot's line read, Kal, no! She's bad at acting.
Good at acting.
She's
so
amazing.
Bad at it.
I'm like,
she's
what?
So good.
Is she
she's
like
captivating?
Is she like good in the room? Like she must be good in the room because she's ass. She's never ever given a good performance, and yet she gets cast.
Kal, no.
Kal, no. So Silver Age Superman exists on Earth 1 and is called Kal, or yeah, so it's Kal-E-L.
Yeah, Kal-El.
And then Golden Age Superman from the 30s is called Kal-El, Kal just L.
Okay.
And he exists on Earth 2. So earlier Superman is on Earth 2 and current day Superman is on Earth 1. Okay, so it's like that. So then you can have like the different lore and the old fans can be serviced or whatever. If it sounds needlessly complicated to you, I would agree. I think it's too complicated. Yeah. But that's comic books, right?
Oh yeah. Well, they love a layer. They love
a
piece of trivia.
A wrinkle.
A little wrinkle.
So then we enter the Bronze Age, which is 1971 to 1985. So in an effort to revamp the stories, they make Superman and Supergirl less powerful and have all the kryptonite on Earth turned to steel, which is kind of interesting because that kind of happens in this movie where there's like no kryptonite left on Earth. People didn't like this and they changed it back. They were like, we want Superman to be very powerful, which is interesting because I actually think the least interesting thing about Superman is how powerful he is. It's hard for me to care about somebody who's really, really, really powerful. But they get around that in this movie. Like, they do get around that in this movie and in ways that I'm like, well, you'll see when you watch it if you want to watch it. But they do create a situation that would make it pretty hard for him to win. So that's good. But I think it's definitely a hurdle you have to jump over if you just create this all-powerful being, right?
Yeah.
Lex Luthor during this era is also changed from an evil scientist to an evil businessman. Great change.
Love
Props.
that.
And they have Ma and Pa Kent, who were Superman's parents, alive and as side characters now, as opposed to being dead or just not around.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, which I think is cool.
Up and at it.
During this era, there are also a lot of blockbuster titles where all the superheroes get together, very Avengers style. And my favorite out of all of these is the one in which all of the group get together to stop to fight Hitler. This is when they fight Hitler.
Yeah, they fight Hitler in the 80s?
Yes.
That's
but
really
they go back.
fucking
But it's
funny.
in the 30s or whatever.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But they make it so that all these superheroes can't go and fight Hitler in Europe. Because they don't want him to like interfere with like D-Day. I think they're like, if Superman's at D-Day, it's kind of offensive to like the living vets of D-Day. For sure. So, and hey, not
and
wrong.
Fair. I stand by that decision. That it'd be tough.
Yes. So the reason that they put in universe as to why they can only do like stuff in the States and not go to Europe to fight Hitler is because Hitler has a spear of destiny. And the spear of destiny is the spear that was used to stab Jesus when he was on the cross.
Yes.
And it's magic.
Jesus is there too with Hitler and Superman.
And it's interesting because like Hitler's trying to create an Aryan race, right?
Yeah.
So like why would he have the spear that kills Jesus? It's an interesting wrinkle, definitely. I have questions. But the spear also makes you able to compel people, which is why Hitler is able to control everyone with his spear of destiny. So if the superheroes,
literally with the power of Christ.
Yes,
he's compelling with the power of Christ. Okay, cool.
So if the superheroes go into like Germany and find Hitler can use the spear and make them Nazis.
This literally sounds like something I would dream.
Yeah, you're like, that's a lot.
Because you ever have those dreams where like weird problems are presented to you?
And you're like, I didn't question it once that the spear of destiny, like the power of Christ literally compels the superheroes to become Nazis if they get too close. Like, I didn't question that.
One of my most terrifying nightmares as a child was I was confronted with the problem that I was with Winnie the Pooh and he was a fortune teller. And Piglet was falling down the ocean to Atlantis. And I was tasked with saving Piglet from Atlantis.
That's so
And
tough.
I just woke up being like, what was I supposed to do about that?
I don't have the tools.
That's literally like Hitler has the Jesus sword.
Piglet is in Atlantis.
Well, yeah, like I'm like, oh, well, Hitler has the Jesus sword. What am I supposed to do about that?
I can't fix it. I can't do anything about that.
I can't do anything about this.
You've created a problem that is too big for me to solve.
It's hard.
So in 1978, following reports of Schuster and Siegel's lack of wealth despite the popularity of Superman, Warner Communications gives them lifetime pensions of $35,000 and health benefits.
Okay, that's nice.
Yep, and any media production of Superman must include the credit Superman created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, which you will see
beyond fair
in the credits of the Superman, which I think is fair. You should know who created like the main guy, one of our top characters.
One of the top guys.
Yes. In 1985, they were concerned that the lore from the multiverse was too complicated.
What? No.
And holding Superman back from reaching a wider audience, which is, I would agree, probably true. That's why, like, I feel like I did not see any of the Marvel movies when it got past the point of being like, when I'm like, they're all together and I'm like, who's that?
Yeah,
why does it matter?
You gotta start from zero.
I've got to watch 25 movies to understand the context. Like, I'm not going to do that.
I'm extremely confused.
So they created the Crisis on Infinite Earths, which basically kills Supergirl and erases her presence from the consciousness of everyone's minds.
Awesome. And
crashes Earth 2 and Earth 1 into one Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just one
You don't know about
Pangea? It's
that. They don't fuck with Pangea. Yeah. Perfect.
So then we enter the Dark Age, which is 1986 to 2000, where they reboot Superman again. They reimagine Krypton as cold and desolate as opposed to this kind of like Garden of Eden, beautiful world.
Okay.
And have Superman basically be put in a rocket ship and be born on Earth. Like he doesn't come to Earth as like a boy, he's like a baby.
Okay.
And Ma and Pa raise him as their only child, which we know about already. Yeah. And then he becomes a superhero of his own kind of volition, and then finds out about his past once he becomes a superhero kind of vibes.
Mm-hmm.
And this is incredibly popular and launches Superman into a new group of readers, which brings us to the Mercury Age, which is 2001 to 2011, which basically on the heels of Superman Returns, the movie, they want to make sure that Superman is like a very popular kind of, yes, it's for like teenagers and adults, but like for young, it's like Superman is for kids kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Because they also have the success of Smallville too. So they really want to simplify the comic book lore so that like an 8-year-old can get in on it, right?
Oh, can I just say also about Smallville?
Yeah.
After watching the movie, I remembered Smallville has one of the best theme songs of all time.
What is it?
Do you remember it? I can't even, I need to find it, but it goes, somebody save me. It's like peak, like 2000s, like moody, like Snow Patrol, like.
I don't want to be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately.
God, it's so good though.
You can't play it. The video's gonna get demonetized now. You can't play it.
I know. I'll play it for the pod, and then I'll.
That's so funny. That's just Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah,
that's like Dawson's Creek.
It's so good. It's just like of that age. You know what I mean? I need a. Oh, it's by Remy Zero. There we go.
Oh, thank God.
There we go. This is the right one. Okay, whatever.
It's kind of like Bones,
right?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, you guys listen to it on your own time.
On your own time. Yeah, there you go. The animated series ran in the 90s. There's also an animated Superman series that ran from like 1997 into like for a couple of years, and was incredibly popular. There were also video games as well, basically just like merchandising Superman outside of the comic books, just these things that are easy to consume by the general population as well, right?
And the Justice League would have been around.
Yep. And so like the Superman comic book lore can be kind of complicated and whatever, but we have like this more simple iteration of Superman for like the general population to enjoy, right?
Huge.
And in 2011, Flashpoint happens. Do you know what Flashpoint is? I only know about it because I did watch the Flash TV series when I first moved to Canada in high school in an effort to make friends. Because there was this friend group that really liked the Flash CW series. So I watched it, even though famously I'm anti-magic. I don't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's got Grant Gustin, Sebastian, the evil little warbler from Glee.
Okay.
So Flashpoint happens when Flash goes back in time by running really fast.
Yes.
To save his mom from the reverse Flash. We don't have time to get into that.
Yeah. Just picture it.
Just whatever you're picturing is probably fine. And then when he comes back to the modern era, basically he's realized that because he's fucked with like the space-time continuum, the modern world is different.
Okay.
And one of the main changes is that the government captured Superman before he became Superman and basically held him in a lab.
Okay.
So that's kind of the new lore. And then there's like a lot of Superman comics that come after that, but that are like different multiverse, whatever. Like,
okay.
Flashpoint, our regular universe, all those kinds of things. And that's really the history of Superman.
Okay,
that's
I love
like
that.
the big moments.
Love
Crazy.
That. Thank you so much, Carly.
Of course. Do you want to do the question?
Yeah, let's dive into it.
Let's make this tragedy about us.
Whoa, I think we did that on time.
You really did? Because on my side, it seemed impossibly splintered. So I'm excited to see kind of like maybe your POV is the more real one. One of us is correct.
Really beautiful to see what the possibilities of things that could happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're tasked with revamping Superman for the next age.
Oh my God. Okay.
So give me your pitches.
Ooh, okay. You know what? I honestly, maybe this is kind of like a cheat, but I think I would do like a revamp of like a comic of Superman, like getting people to try and buy like a physical comic of Superman.
Again. Yeah.
Because I do think like if you market like a comic of Superman well, I think you could get a whole new group of
like
readers
graphic
into
novels
it.
and stuff. I would pitch on the heels of that, because you're galaxy braining right now. Heartstopper was a popular kind of comic, right? Because it's like a web comic.
Yes.
Why don't we Heartstopper Superman?
Yeah.
And kind of make him like a gay teen who's like ooh sweet.
Yes. He's woo. He's bi.
He's bi.
By the way. Yeah.
Are they both bi in Heartstopper?
No.
I couldn't get through it because famously
one's gay, one's bi.
I'm a horrible person. Which one's bi?
I felt like I was watching something inappropriate. I was like, I don't know which one I can.
It's for people who need it. Do you know what I mean?
It's
like I was like, I'm evil. I'm evil.
Yeah, I feel sick watching this.
Because I like, but like this is needed. Like I think probably I'm bringing my own baggage to the table when I watch Heartstopper, and I'm like, I didn't have this. I had to read Kindle Unlimited books that were like basically fan fiction, unpublished fan fiction to get any lesbian content. I had to watch Faking It on MTV.
Facts.
The worst gay show I've ever seen in my life.
Cool. Love to see it.
About two girls who pretend to be gay for their high school to be popular because they go to like a woke high school. So they pretend to be gay to get popular. But then one is gay. But then one is gay and is in love with her best friend.
Whoa. That goes deep.
Yeah. The most 30-year-old actors playing 15-year-olds you can physically imagine. So I would imagine, I'm pitching Heartstopper Superman. I'm also pitching like we obviously Crypto needs to be, the Superdog needs to be like revamped, because I would love that. Like I remember we need more Superdog memorabilia. We need like make Superdog kind of like make Crypto kind of like a Labubu.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, make him Labubu the Superdog.
Figure that out. Whatever that means to
whatever
you.
that means to the designers of the world. Please.
Do you know that Lisa from Blackpink is the person who started the Labubu trend because she bought one and then put it on her bag?
Good for her. Love you, Lisa.
So there's that. Love you, Lisa.
But yeah, I think that's how I would revamp it. More in the medium than the story. I think the story may be a little bit convoluted. Or I would just say, like, give us a Superman that is maybe having like a stand-up arc. Like just like do the Joker, but with Chad Superman.
Chad
like,
open mic, corner comedy club, Superman. Backroom.
Exactly.
Backroom club. Backroom comedy club.
And he tackles the like, the sexual assault issue.
Yeah. I like that. Mm-hmm. He's like, y'all hear about pronouns? I would love Superman to figure out he's gay. I think we need a gay Superman.
Yeah.
I think we're overdue.
I also do want like a Supergirl. Like I want Girls, the TV show by Lena Dunham, but with Just
Blair,
like
you're cooking.
Lena Dunham, like Hannah Horvath is also Supergirl.
Wait, that's so fun.
And then goes and gets
It's kind of like a boys.
fucked by Adam Driver.
It's like the boys.
Yes.
But the girls.
Yes, the girls. And it's
I love
Supergirl.
I
and
am
then, like,
genuinely
Ray is
excited
Superman.
for Supergirl. I'm really excited for
me too.
For
I'm
Supergirl.
so excited.
I'm like,
I have a lot of faith.
I feel like if that movie does well, I can get that, and I've got my Halloween costume for the rest of my life set up.
I know.
Like,
I really was. I was like, am I Supergirl next Halloween? Like, I don't know. Like, is it 2?
We could both be Supergirl. That'd be cute.
I feel like everyone's gonna be fucking Supergirl. But
when does the movie come out? Because the movie hasn't come out yet, so we could be it ahead of time.
Yeah, ahead of time, and be like, we were in on the trend, even though we knew this movie was coming out. But
we knew it's gonna be good.
Well,
so
anyway, thank you for that,
that's
Carly.
kind of it. I
Did
hope
you
you guys
give your
enjoyed?
Did you? Yeah, you gave your alternate universe, which Superman is gay. Okay,
Heartstopper, Superman,
Heartstopper, Superman, pronouns, perfect
pronouns, and then Labubu, Superdog, whatever that means to the design team. Just figure out how to Labubu Crypto,
the dog. Yeah,
I think that's
Labubu the dog.
Just Labubu the dog, and whatever that means to you, figure it out.
Whatever that means to you, please, for fuck's sake, someone Labubu the fucking super dog.
Can somebody Labubu the super dog already?
Can someone Labubu the dog? Okay, well, thanks for listening. We love you.
We love you guys. See you later. Bye.
Bye.